Hey guys, Gerald Richardson here. So I was asked to go over my experience with working with contractors. I definitely understand the struggles investors are having with contractors and vendors, especially now in the current environment. Back when I first got started in 2008, investors had their choice of contractors. You could get several bids, compare them, and sometimes even bid them against each other. And almost always there was always room to negotiate. For example, if it was like a time and material type of bid, you could negotiate their labor rates most times. With the projects I managed back then, I actually had a former builder that lost his home building company due to the slowdown and took up doing rehab projects and worked on most of my projects. Eventually, he went back to building houses and stopped doing smaller renovation projects. So I had to expand my team and find contractors. One way that I found contractors were through referrals from other investors. Networking with other professionals back then was just as important as it is now. Also, back then, it was common for investors to share their contacts and vendors as where you can go onto the job site and see their work. Unfortunately, in today's environment, most investors are keeping their contacts close to the vest. Good contractors are extremely busy now with the amount of work out there. The fear is that if investors share their contact, they may not be able to get them to complete their own projects. Another way that I found contractors was by driving around and looking for work trucks or a crew working on a house. I would stop by and talk with the crew. I would try to get the GC's contact information if he wasn't there. While on site, you can get an idea of the quality of the work. Eventually, after a while, you should be able to walk through a job site and tell if a crew is doing good work or not. If the GC isn't there, I will reach out and arrange a meeting. I will ask to have them come meet me at one of my projects, and also would even offer to pay for their time, or sometimes even provide lunch to their crew. My partner Jeffrey is a big advocate of stopping by other job sites and chatting with their crew. He gets a lot of his subcontractors that way. So I met my partner Jeffrey with affordable home repairs as a referral from another realtor. After working on a few of my projects and doing several repairs for my clients, Jeffrey approached me and expressed his desire to grow. And I told him that I needed help and was looking for a partner to help scale my business. With Jeffrey, he brings a construction background to the team where he handles sourcing subcontractors while also managing the crew and rehabs, which freeing me up to focus on acquisitions and the real estate aspect of our business. We're also able to control our rehab costs on our projects by doing some of the work ourselves if need be. Another local contractor that I work with is Izzadeen with First Class Remodeling and Repair. I met Izzadeen through another investor who happens to be a GC. Izzadeen is a very straightforward guy and does great work. Both Jeffrey's and Izzadeen's contact information is going to be in the description below if you guys want to reach out to them. Depending on your contractor, at a minimum, you want to be able to provide them with your scope of work and for them to provide you with a line item estimate broken down by task. You also want the estimate to be clear on what type it is, whether it's time and material or cost plus, or if it's an all-inclusive bid. All-inclusive is generally the most common type of estimates. Most contractors use their estimate as their contract once it's signed off by the client. In addition to the estimate, request the contractor to provide you with a draw schedule. On that draw schedule, you should show how much and when a deposit is required. It should also tell you when payments are due. Make sure that it provides you with what tasks should be completed by a certain date before the next payment. This is to help you keep track of the project and for you to have something to refer to if the contractor is behind or hasn't completed a certain task or if they're delayed. If the contractor is requesting payment, but you know that certain task has been done yet, you can use a draw schedule in that conversation with the contractor to find out what's going on. There's no formula with what a deposit should be. Just about all contractors will require deposits, especially for large projects. Deposits are a show of faith and a commitment for everyone. Contractors will need to adjust their crew schedule, buy material and tools, and do a bunch of prep work up front. So without a deposit, and if the client backs out, the contractor potentially could be taking a hit without a way to recover their loss. The deposit shouldn't be more than half the total project cost, or it shouldn't be a significant amount where if the contractor does take off with the deposit without doing any of the work, it shouldn't completely devastate your project or your budget. Unfortunately, that is a risk with any real estate venture with the contractor taking off after the deposit. That is why referrals and looking at past projects are important. Even with that could still happen. Don't forget to make sure that your contractor is insured and bonded. Also, it's important that you have insurance on your houses and that there's a renovation and construction clause in your insurance. Also wanted to briefly talk about permits. Here in North Carolina, permits are not required for most cosmetic renovations, such as installing new floors or painting. A permit is required when you're doing like electrical updates, such as installing new panel boxes, but they're not required if you're installing like a ceiling fan or a lighting fixture using existing connections. A permit is required if you're installing like a new bathroom or running new plumbing lines, but they're not required if you're like switching out old faucets with new ones. A good contractor should be able to tell you if a permit is required for a project or not, and they should include that in their estimate. Depending on the county, you may be able to pull your own permits. There's also counties out there that will require the contractor to pull the permits. Personally, I prefer to have the subcontractors, like the electricians and plumbers, pull permits. But really, it's a project by project case on who will actually do that. Finally, look at your contractor as an important member of your team, wherever you've only done one project together or many. You want to be honest and fair with all members of your team and expect the same in return. There's enough money out there for everyone to eat. I hope this video helps. Let me know if you guys have any questions. When you have, please like, share, and subscribe this, and I will talk to you guys later.